On June 2, 2026, the world lost one of the most recognizable voices in modern R&B. Peabo Bryson, the legendary singer whose music had accompanied weddings, first dances, family celebrations, and countless memories for more than 5 decades, died at the age of 75. His family confirmed that he passed away peacefully after suffering a stroke only days earlier. He was surrounded by loved ones in his final moments. In a heartfelt statement, his family expressed gratitude for the overwhelming support from fans around the world and said that his legacy would continue to live on through his music for generations to come. For millions of people, the news felt impossible to process. Just days earlier, fans had still been talking about Peabo Bryson as a living legend. His songs remained staples on radio stations, streaming playlists, and concert stages. His voice was timeless, the kind of voice that seemed immune to the passing of years. Then suddenly, the headlines appeared. The man who had given the world unforgettable classics like If Ever You're in My Arms Again, Tonight, I Celebrate My Love, Beauty and the Beast, and A Whole New World was gone. Across social media, reactions poured in from every corner of the globe. Fans shared memories of hearing his songs for the first time. Others posted clips from concerts they had attended decades earlier. Many admitted that certain songs instantly transported them back to specific moments in their lives. For some, Peabo Bryson was the soundtrack of romance. For others, he was the voice of childhood. And for an entire generation of Disney fans, he was forever linked to 2 of the most beloved movie songs ever recorded. The shock was amplified by the suddenness of the tragedy. Only a short time before his death, reports had emerged that Bryson had suffered a stroke. Fans hoped he would recover just as he had overcome previous health challenges. In 2019, he survived a major heart attack and eventually returned to music, demonstrating the resilience that had defined much of his life and career. That resilience became part of his public image. Peabo Bryson was not merely a singer. He was a survivor. Over the years, he had endured personal and professional challenges while continuing to perform and record. Even as younger generations discovered music through new platforms and changing trends, Bryson's voice remained remarkably relevant. There was something timeless about it. Something comforting. Something instantly recognizable. That is why the news of his passing spread so quickly. And almost immediately, another story began to emerge. A mystery. A question that thousands of fans suddenly found themselves asking. What was Peabo Bryson doing in the days before he died? As tributes flooded the internet, fans began revisiting every recent interview, every public appearance, every social media post, and every video they could find. Then one particular video started attracting attention. At first, it seemed like an ordinary appearance. Nothing dramatic. Nothing obviously historic. Yet after Bryson's death, viewers began watching it differently. They replayed certain moments. They examined his expressions. They listened carefully to his words. And what they thought they saw left many people speechless. But before we get to that video, it's important to understand how Peabo Bryson arrived at this final chapter of his remarkable journey. His career stretched across more than 50 years, spanning soul, R&B, pop, adult contemporary, and film music. Unlike many singers who depended on trends, Bryson built his reputation on pure vocal ability. His voice carried emotion effortlessly. He could sound powerful without shouting, romantic without sounding forced, heartbroken without becoming melodramatic. That rare gift made him one of the most sought-after duet partners in the music industry. He collaborated with artists including Roberta Flack, Natalie Cole, Celine Dion, and Regina Belle. Yet despite all of those accomplishments, Bryson never appeared to lose his appreciation for music itself. Friends and colleagues frequently described him as someone who genuinely loved singing. Not fame, not headlines, not celebrity culture. The music. That passion remained evident even during the later stages of his life. In fact, according to reports following his death, Bryson was still looking toward the future. He reportedly had plans connected to new music and a tour celebrating his extraordinary career. Those plans now stand as unfinished chapters in a story that ended far too soon. That detail has become especially emotional for longtime fans, because it suggests something important. Peabo Bryson was not looking backward. He was still looking ahead, still creating, still dreaming, still believing there was more music to share. That realization makes the events of late May 2026 even more heartbreaking. As reports emerged regarding his stroke, concern spread rapidly among fans who understood his medical history. Many remembered the frightening health scare he survived years earlier. Once again, people hoped for another comeback, another recovery, another opportunity to hear that unmistakable voice. Unfortunately, this time would be different. Following his passing, family members requested privacy while expressing appreciation for the enormous outpouring of support. Fellow artists began sharing memories. Collaborators reflected on decades of friendship. Fans gathered online to celebrate a career that had touched multiple generations. Then came the renewed interest in his final appearances. People started searching, watching, listening, analyzing. One clip led to another. One interview led to another. And eventually, attention centered on a video that many viewers had largely overlooked when it first appeared. Now everything seemed different. Comments beneath the video multiplied rapidly. Some viewers described getting chills. Others admitted they cried while re-watching it. Many pointed to specific moments that suddenly felt far more significant after learning of his death. Did Peabo Bryson somehow sense that time was running short? Was he reflecting on his life? Was he expressing gratitude in a way that people simply didn't recognize at the time? Or were fans projecting their emotions onto an ordinary moment because they were struggling to accept his loss? The answers were not immediately clear. What was clear, however, was that people couldn't stop talking about the video. Every smile seemed more meaningful. Every pause seemed more emotional. Every word seemed worthy of closer examination. And as viewers continued studying the footage, another surprising detail began to emerge. Some believed that hidden within that final public appearance were clues about how Bryson viewed his life, his career, and the legacy he hoped to leave behind. Whether those interpretations were accurate remained a matter of debate. But one thing was undeniable. The video had transformed from a routine public appearance into something far more powerful. Something that now felt like a farewell. And what viewers discovered when they began breaking down that footage frame by frame would leave even longtime fans stunned. Because in that final appearance, Peabo Bryson said and did several things that, after his death, suddenly seemed impossible to ignore. And those moments are where this story takes an even more emotional turn. By the time the first wave of shock surrounding Peabo Bryson's death began to settle, thousands of fans had already turned their attention toward the footage that many now call one of the most emotional videos of his career. It wasn't a dramatic farewell. It wasn't a final concert announced as a goodbye. It wasn't a carefully planned last message to the world. That is precisely why it affected people so deeply. The video appeared ordinary when it was first released. At the time, viewers saw a beloved music legend doing what he had done throughout his life. Speaking about music, reflecting on his career, and expressing appreciation for the people who had supported him over the decades. Nobody knew they were watching one of the final public glimpses of Peabo Bryson. Nobody imagined that within a short time, fans would return to those same moments searching for meaning. But that is exactly what happened. Following confirmation of his death on June 2, 2026, the footage spread rapidly across social media platforms. People shared clips. Reaction videos appeared. Fans posted screenshots. Comment sections filled with emotional messages from viewers who felt they were seeing the video through entirely different eyes. The most common reaction was surprisingly simple. Many viewers said he seemed happy. Not exhausted. Not defeated. Not bitter. Happy. For those who spent years following Bryson's career, that observation carried enormous weight. Throughout his decades in the music industry, he had experienced the same ups and downs that affect nearly every performer. Musical trends changed. Record labels evolved. The entertainment business transformed dramatically. Yet whenever Bryson spoke publicly, he consistently returned to the same themes. Gratitude, music, fans, family, purpose. Those themes became impossible to ignore when people revisited the final footage. Viewers noticed how frequently he spoke about appreciation. Not in a dramatic way. Not as though he were delivering a farewell speech. Instead, he sounded like someone reflecting on a life that had exceeded expectations. Many fans later wrote that the most heartbreaking part of the video was seeing how genuinely content he appeared. One comment that received thousands of reactions simply read, "He looked like a man who knew how blessed he was." Another viewer wrote, Watching this now feels completely different than it did before. Those reactions continued multiplying. The more people watched, the more emotional the experience became. One reason was the contrast between what viewers knew then and what they know now. When the footage was originally recorded, Bryson was still looking ahead. Reports following his death indicated that he remained interested in future performances and continued celebrating his remarkable musical legacy. He wasn't speaking like a man closing a chapter. He was speaking like a man preparing for another one. That reality has become especially painful for longtime supporters, because it highlights how unexpected his passing truly was. Many fans have pointed to moments in the video where Bryson discussed the enduring power of music. Throughout his career, he often emphasized how songs connect people across generations. That belief was evident once again. He spoke about audiences who had supported him for decades. He spoke about younger listeners discovering his work for the first time. He spoke about the joy of knowing that songs recorded years earlier still held meaning for people. After his death, those comments took on an entirely new significance. What once sounded like a routine reflection from a veteran performer now sounded almost like a summary of his life's mission. And that mission was extraordinary. For more than 50 years, Peabo Bryson created music that became woven into people's lives. His songs weren't simply recordings. They became memories. A wedding dance, a first kiss, a road trip, a graduation, an anniversary, a reunion. For countless fans, Bryson's voice became permanently attached to life's most meaningful moments. That connection explains why the final video resonated so strongly. People weren't merely mourning a celebrity. They were mourning someone whose music had accompanied them through decades of personal experiences. As interest in the footage continued growing, several musicians and industry figures began sharing their own reactions. Many described Bryson as one of the most gifted vocalists they had ever encountered. Others spoke about his professionalism, his kindness, his generosity toward younger artists. Again and again, the same descriptions appeared: class, humility, grace, talent. What struck many observers was how closely those descriptions matched the person fans saw in the final video. There was no performance, no attempt to create a larger-than-life image. Just Peabo Bryson, calm, thoughtful, comfortable with who he was. That authenticity may be the reason the footage became so powerful after his passing. People felt they were seeing the real man. Not the Grammy winner. Not the chart-topping recording artist. Not the Disney soundtrack legend. The person behind all of it. As the days passed, certain moments from the video began circulating independently. Short clips accumulated millions of views. Fans repeatedly highlighted passages where Bryson expressed appreciation for his supporters, respect for the audience. Those ideas suddenly felt profound. Many fans described feeling emotional because Bryson appeared completely unaware that people would eventually treat those remarks as some of his final public reflections. That innocence gave the footage additional power. Nothing was staged. Nothing was scripted as a goodbye. Everything happened naturally. And perhaps that is why so many people found themselves returning to watch it again and again. The video also reignited discussion about the extraordinary longevity of Bryson's career. Very few artists remain relevant across multiple generations. Even fewer successfully navigate changing musical eras. Yet Bryson accomplished exactly that. He earned success in the 1970s, continued thriving in the 1980s, reached new audiences in the 1990s, and remained beloved well into the 21st century. That achievement is remarkable by any standard. As fans revisited the final footage, they couldn't help comparing the man they saw on screen with a young singer who first entered the music industry decades earlier. The voice may have matured. The hair may have changed. The years may have passed. But the passion remained unmistakable. That passion became one of the most discussed aspects of the video. Viewers noticed how animated Bryson became whenever the conversation turned toward music itself. His eyes seemed to light up. His enthusiasm remained genuine. His love for performing was still obvious. For fans, that realization was both beautiful and heartbreaking. Beautiful because it confirmed that music continued bringing him joy. Heartbreaking because it reminded everyone how much more he likely wanted to do. Several reports published after his death noted that he still had professional goals and future plans. the possibility of additional performances, the possibility of new projects, the possibility of further celebrations of his career. Now those possibilities exist only as what-ifs. What if he had been given more time? What if one more concert had happened? What if one more recording session had taken place? What if one more interview had been conducted? Those questions have no answers, but they continue to linger in the minds of fans. Perhaps the most emotional aspect of the entire story is that Peabo Bryson never appeared consumed by regret. People searching through his final public appearances have struggled to find evidence of bitterness or disappointment. Instead, they find gratitude. Again and again. Gratitude for the music. Gratitude for the journey. Gratitude for the people who supported him. That perspective has become one of the central reasons the video continues attracting attention. It offers something rare. A glimpse of an artist who seemed genuinely at peace with what he had accomplished. And yet, as fans continued studying the footage, another fascinating discussion emerged. Some viewers became convinced that one specific moment in the video revealed something even deeper. A brief exchange. A subtle expression. A reflection that seemed almost ordinary at first. But after Bryson's death, many began interpreting it in an entirely different way. The debate spread rapidly online. Was it merely coincidence? Was it hindsight shaping perception? Or had fans discovered a moment that unexpectedly captured the essence of Peabo Bryson's entire legacy? The answer would spark some of the most emotional conversations in the days following his death. And those conversations would ultimately transform the video from a final appearance into something much larger. Something timeless. Something that future generations of fans would continue watching long after the headlines faded. Because hidden within that seemingly ordinary footage was a reminder of why Peabo Bryson's music mattered so much in the first place. And once people understood that message, the video became more than a memory. It became a legacy. But to fully understand why, we must look beyond the final days and examine the extraordinary impact Peabo Bryson left behind. A legacy that stretches far beyond awards, record sales, and chart positions, and one that continues touching hearts even after his voice has fallen silent. In the days following Peabo Bryson's death, something remarkable happened. The headlines gradually began to disappear. News cycles moved on. New stories emerged. But the music remained. Across streaming platforms, radio stations, and personal playlists, millions of listeners returned to the songs that had defined one of the most extraordinary careers in modern music. For many fans, it wasn't simply about remembering Peabo Bryson. It was about remembering moments from their own lives. A favorite song heard on a first date. A wedding dance shared with a loved one. A childhood memory connected to a Disney classic. A difficult chapter made easier by music that seemed to understand exactly how they felt. That was always the unique power of Peabo Bryson's voice. He didn't just sing songs. He helped create memories. Perhaps no songs represent that legacy better than Beauty and the Beast and A Whole New World. Long after their original releases, both recordings remain beloved by audiences around the globe. Generations who may never have followed R&B music still know his voice because of those timeless Disney classics. For countless listeners, hearing those songs today feels different. The lyrics haven't changed. The melodies remain the same. Yet there is now an added emotional weight behind every note. Fans understand they are listening to a voice that can never be replaced. Tributes from fellow artists reflected that reality. Musicians praised not only Bryson's technical brilliance but also the warmth and humanity he brought to every performance. Many described him as one of the greatest vocalists of his generation. Others remembered his kindness behind the scenes. Again and again, people spoke about his professionalism, humility, and genuine love for music. Those qualities helped explain why so many people felt personally affected by his passing. Peabo Bryson's influence extended far beyond the records he sold. His approach to singing inspired countless performers who followed. Young artists studying vocal technique often pointed to his phrasing, emotional delivery, and remarkable control as examples of true craftsmanship. He proved that powerful singing was not about volume. It was about feeling. It was about connection. It was about making listeners believe every word. That influence continues today, and it will continue long into the future. Yet perhaps the most moving part of his story involves the final video that captured so much attention after his death. When people first watched it, they saw an artist reflecting on his career. After his passing, they saw something more. They saw gratitude. They saw peace. They saw a man who never lost his passion for music. Whether fans were correct in every interpretation is ultimately impossible to know. What matters is what they felt. The video reminded people that life is fragile, that even legends are not here forever, and that sometimes ordinary moments become extraordinary only after they are gone. Looking back now, the footage serves as a final reminder of everything Peabo Bryson represented. Talent without arrogance. Success without bitterness. Fame without losing sight of what truly mattered. Music, family, and the people who supported him throughout his journey. The unfinished plans he left behind remain heartbreaking. There were still performances he hoped to give. Still audiences he hoped to reach. Still memories waiting to be created. But perhaps that is true of every life. No matter how long someone lives, there are always more dreams ahead. More songs left unsung. More stories left untold. What Peabo Bryson accomplished during his 75 years, however, is something most artists can only dream of achieving. He built a legacy that transcends generations. A legacy measured not only by awards and chart success, but by the countless lives his music touched. Today, fans continue sharing his songs with children and grandchildren. New listeners continue discovering recordings made decades ago. And somewhere every day, someone hears Peabo Bryson's voice for the very first time. That may be the greatest tribute of all. Because true musical legends never completely leave us. Their voices remain. Their stories remain. Their influence remains. And their music continues speaking long after they are gone. On June 2, 2026, the world said goodbye to Peabo Bryson. But every time a whole new world begins to play, every time Beauty and the Beast fills a room, every time someone falls in love with one of his songs for the very first time, a part of his legacy lives on. And perhaps that is why the final video touched so many hearts. It wasn't simply the last public glimpse of a legendary singer. It was a reminder that while life eventually ends, great music never truly does. Peabo Bryson's voice may have fallen silent, but the memories, the emotions, and the songs he gave the world will continue echoing for generations to come. And in that sense, the man who spent a lifetime singing to millions will never really be gone.